Hello everyone. So in previous video we saw that how we can apply bubble sort in array. So for binary search we must have to have the elements arranged in ascending or descending order. So in this video we will be looking into another sorting technique, that is selection sort. If you haven't watched my video of binary search or bubble sort, then please do watch those videos before proceeding into this one. So from the name itself it says selection. We have to make some selection. So for selection I will select the very first element present inside the array. I will assume that the very first element that is present inside the array is either the smallest for ascending or greatest for descending. And then I will keep on checking for each and every element present inside the array. If I find that the number that I have assumed to be smallest is not small and there is another element which is smaller than this, then simply I will swap those two numbers. And we will keep on repeating those iterations till we reach our sorted array. So for this, I have taken one example of the same numbers which I explained in bubble sort. This is our original array. I will assume that my number present at I is the smallest number. So I will take that index of I is having the smallest value of the element. I will compare with the second element. If this element is smaller than this, I will simply change the value of small to this index. Again, I will go to next. If I find that this element is small than the element present at small index, simply I will change the value. I will keep on changing the value until I reach the last position of the array. Once I complete this traversing, what I will do? The small variable having the index of smallest number inside the array, I will change the value with index of I. So if we see that the smallest number present inside this array is 1, I will simply change the value of this position with this position. So 1 will get swapped with 2. Now, if we are finding the smallest number inside the array and taking it at the first position, then it simply means that the first element would now have been placed at its position as per the sorting list. So after this iteration, this would be the arrangement of the elements present inside the array. Now I will assume that my smallest number after this is present at this index. I will again check with all the elements that are present inside the array. Again, if I find smallest number except this from these positions, then what I will do? I will simply swap these two numbers once I reach the last element. We don't have to swap at that instant of the time where we find the small number. We have to keep on checking for the index of the smallest number. We will perform swap only when we have completed all this traversing, because again swapping of each and every element present inside the array again increases the complexity of the program. So we will not swap during the iteration, we will swap after the iteration is completed. So once this whole is completed, we will find that at third index we have our smallest element. Then we will change these two values. So after this iteration, this would be our arrangement of the elements present inside the array. Now again, we will not check these two elements. We will start from third index. Again, we will go and find for the smallest element from these locations. So here we will find 3. After the iteration is completed, we will swap 3 with 6. And after the iteration, this would be our new arrangement of the elements present inside the array. Next, we have to start from this index. We have to check which is the smallest element from these elements. We will see that this is the smallest element. Once the iteration is complete, we will simply swap these two elements. Now, after the execution of this iteration is done, this is the arrangement that we will have. Now we have to compare this with the rest of the elements. Now this will compare with the next element, and this is the last index. If this is greater, then simply we have to swap these two elements, and simply we will get our final array as our sorted array. So this is how we can apply selection sorting. In bubble sorting, the elements used to arrange from last position, but in selection sorting, the elements are starting to arrange themselves from the starting index of the array. So this was simple how a selection sorting works. Now I will show you how we can develop logic to apply this selection sorting technique. So again, we will start with the very first index, that is I equals to 0. We will go till our second last element of the array. I will take one variable small, where I will assume that smallest number present is at ith index. Next, I will take another loop which will start from the next index of the index where I is starting, because we know that once after iterations are getting complete, we are skipping the first elements that are present inside the array. This triangular pattern we are not checking because they have already arranged themselves in the position. So I will take j equals to I plus 1, and I will go till very last index of the array, that is this last element. If I find that my value at small index is greater than the value at j index, then I will simply update the value of small variable, that is small equals to j. Once this whole iteration, once the traversing from first element to the last element is done, this whole thing is done, then simply I will swap the value of small index with the index of I, that is swap between small and I index values, and this will give us the sorted array. So this was the logic for applying selection sort. Now I will show you the program in BlueJ, and we'll see for the different set of inputs for the array. Now these are the same numbers whose example I took and explained you that how we can apply selection sort. These are the same statements that I explained, and this is the statement using which we can swap the value of small and I. So the index of small with the index of I position of the element inside the array. Again, this is not the part of the code. This is simple to show that how the values are getting arranged after each and every iteration. Then simple display method to display the elements present inside the array, and main method to call sort method and display method. Now let's first see the output of these elements. So we can see the elements are getting arranged from starting position of the arrays. So in this, our first is getting sorted, then first two positions are getting sorted, then 3, 4, 5, and finally we have the last iteration. Now what if I change the values of these numbers? So now here I have taken two negative values and also included 0 in my list of array. So if we compile and see that what is the output, then again we are getting our sorted array. -15, -12, 0, 7, 14, 17, 26 and 60. So this is taking 7 passes to get arranged in ascending order. Again, if we have to do this process for descending order, then again you would have guessed it correctly that we simple have to change the sign of this comparison operator from greater than to less than. If we compile and see the output, then we are getting our array in descending order. So again, I taught you two processes of sorting, that is ascending and descending of selection sorting in one video. So now if you have query related to this program, then you can ask your queries in comment section, and if you have any other questions related to this topic that you are not able to solve, then you can send your questions on my mail ID. I will try to make a video on it. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.